hour of 12 noon having arrived, the House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Sergeants at arms, please close the doors of the House. Prayer today will be offered by our colleague, Representative Mirsky. Immediately after prayer, we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Members and guests, please rise as able.
Thank you, colleagues. If you could today, in a special way, please remember my father, retired Erie County Sheriff Bob Mirsky, as he undergoes partial knee replacement today. Let us pray. We give thanks to you, dear God, for the gift of life. Grant us wisdom, courage, and vision in order that we may fully dedicate ourselves to the service of the people and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Help us, O God, actively engage in meaningful and fruitful deliberation and discussion for the good of our people and prosperity for our country. Help us, God of wisdom, as elected representatives of people to reflect and act with the profound sense of responsibility and accountability. Help us, God of compassion, to promote mutual understanding, acceptance, and tolerance as one nation of coherent diversities. Help us, giver of peace and justice, to work ardently for peace with justice in a world torn apart by violence and polarization. Help us, God of mercy, remember in our prayers all of those hurting. May we make decisions to alleviate their suffering. O God, protect us from evil and strengthen and guide us in our common responsibility. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance. Sergeants at arms, please open the doors of the House. Members and guests, please take your seats. Without objection, the approval of the Journal of Sunday, May the 4th, 2025, will be postponed until printed. Are there requests for leaves of absence? The chair recognizes the majority whip, who indicates there are none. The chair recognizes the minority whip, who indicates there are none. The chair is about to take the master roll call. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. 203 members having voted on the master roll call. A quorum is present. Colleagues, please take your seats so we can acknowledge our special guests. The House will come to order. Please take your seats. This morning, our colleague that serves Allegheny County, Representative Venkat, and our colleague that serves Philadelphia County, Representative Khan, have some special guests seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum. This morning, we are thrilled to welcome members of the Pittsburgh Indian Community and Friends and Peace Islands Institute. They're here to celebrate all day the Pennsylvania Legislative Asian Pacific American Caucus, May 2025, as Asian American and Pacific Island and Heritage Month. With these distinguished guests who've come from Pittsburgh, please stand. Our Our colleague that serves Lawrence County, Representative Brown, has some special guests seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum. We have in our presence Ben Bush, Mary Perry, and Lindsay Overby. Please stand. These guests from Lawrence County, we're glad to welcome you. Our colleague that serves Lancaster, Representative Smith Wade L., has Maria Perez Camacho, who is completing her Master of Social Work at Millersville and will soon become the first in her family to be a master's holding degree recipient. She's a recent intern in Representative Smith Wade L.'s district office. Would you please stand, Maria? Congratulations, we're so proud. Representative Barger, who serves Blair County, has his mother here. Those of you who know me know moms are so special and preeminent in all of our lives. We are excited to welcome his mother, Rebecca Barger, to the Capitol this week. She's here for the Bible reading marathon, and today she's celebrating her birthday. Happy birthday, Mom. Please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. Representative Fleming, that serves Dauphin County, has the Bishop McDevitt High School senior, Vinnie Brooks, shadowing him today. Vinnie is a two-time state champion in football, will be soon graduating with a 4.2 GPA, is heading west to attend Carnegie Mellon this fall. Please stand. We're so proud of you. Our colleagues, Representatives Powell from Allegheny County and Representative Curry from Delaware County, Representative Cephas from Philadelphia County, and Representative Mays, also from Allegheny County, have some very special guests. We are thrilled this morning to have the oldest, continuous, largest social action group for African American women across the nation in our midst. They are both in the back of the House and also seated to the left of the speaker's rostrum. We are thrilled to have the distinguished members of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Please stand and welcome to the Hall of the House. Amongst this distinguished group, we are thrilled to have Deborah Brady, a recent retiree from the House of Representatives. She has found her way back. A good friend of mine in the Delaware County Alumni Chapter, Chester alumni, Desiree Jones. Of course, all my favorites from the Philadelphia Alumni Chapter. I see Madam President Kimberly Lloyd, and to the left of the speaker's rostrum, we have the first Vice President, Tiffany Wilson. Would all of you just be standing in your places who hold leadership offices? Thank you for your service. Our colleague that serves Luzerne, Representative Watrow, has in the gallery the Doctors of Optometry. They are here representing the Pennsylvania Optometric Association. There are over 2,000 optometrists in Pennsylvania. They provide essential eye care to all of us in need, and they are here today to advocate so that we can have more children's eye exams available. Doctors, please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. Our colleague, Representative Cepeda Freitas, has some special guests in the rear of the House. Members of the Empowering and Connecting Educators, they work to improve early childhood education by advocating for policy, supporting educators, and ensuring that families have access to high-quality learning environments. With the members of ECE from Berks County, please stand. We're so glad to welcome you. Our colleague that serves Philadelphia, Representative Nielsen, has some special guests in the gallery. We have today the Archbishop Ryan cheerleading team. They made history this season because they placed first at Nationals in November, earning a division banner and a trophy. They went on to Orlando, and they ranked first on February the 9th in qualifying for finals. On February 10th, they sealed the deal, and they won the non-tumbling junior varsity division national title. Archbishop Ryan JV cheerleaders, please stand. Congratulations. Our colleague, Representative Gallagher, that also serves Philadelphia, has Father Judge High School boys basketball team. They are here because they were the first place winners in the 2024 PIAA Class A Boys Basketball Championship. The Crusaders won Father Judge's first basketball title, and we are so proud of Father Judge. Father Judge, please stand. Congratulations on your first title. Also in the gallery, Representative Cepeda Freitas from Berks County has members of Berks for Peace. They focus on education awareness and advocacy through creating engaging activities in the community. They are here, and with the members of Berks for Peace, if you're in the gallery, please stand and wave at us today. Welcome to the floor of the House. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 172, printers number 1244, page 8 of today's House calendar. Clerk will read a summary of the resolution.
A resolution recognizing the month of May 2025 as Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month in Pennsylvania, introduced by Representative Khan.
Will the House agree to the resolution? On that question, the chair recognizes the gentleman from Allegheny County, Representative Venkit.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. May is AAPI Heritage Month, and on behalf of our Legislative Asian Pacific Caucus and colleagues on a bipartisan basis, it's an honor to stand today to ask for your affirmative vote on House Resolution 172 to recognize AAPI Heritage Month. The theme for the month is Pennsylvania is our home. And for the Asian American community, that saying is absolutely true. In every walk of life, Asian Americans are contributing here in our Commonwealth. And I think it goes back to our founding by William Penn that Pennsylvania is a welcoming place for all, and that includes the Asian American community. And so I'd humbly ask for an affirmative vote. And I want to thank Representative Davidson, Representative Malagari, who are also co-prime sponsors on this legislation. And as we previously recognized, colleagues from Pittsburgh Indian Community and Friends, which does incredible work in the Western Pennsylvania region through the Asian American community.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Columbia, Representative Ledbetter, on the resolution.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is a tremendous honor to be here in collaboration with Representative Khan and my colleagues in the sponsoring of House Resolution 172. Madam Speaker, my grandfather was born in West Newton in Westmoreland, Pennsylvania, and after joining the military, traveled to a faraway land, discovering the love of his life in the Philippines, outside of Bacolod City. My grandmother, having been raised in a hut with a literal dirt floor, came to America and raised not only my father, but 6 other children. As a single mother, she was able to demonstrate what perseverance means. And as we celebrate API Heritage Month, we should be reminded that love takes many forms, America welcomes all, and that we as a Commonwealth stand to lead into the future. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. On that question, Chair recognizes the gentleman from Philadelphia, Representative Khan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On this Asian American Pacific and Native Hawaiian Islander resolution, I think of my father who immigrated to the U.S. from Pakistan back in the 60s. And when he came, he was inspired by John F. Kennedy and his vision for America. He saw America as a place that there was an American dream, where if you worked hard and did the right thing, you could get ahead, you could support a family. America being a place that took care of its own, that had good public schools, that if you fell between the cracks, there would be Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security for you, that this was a place where it was safe, where we had safe water, safe air, and we had people that didn't feel afraid that they were going to get robbed or get shot going outside their house or going to school. That America was a place where we valued our freedoms. That was the freedom to have independent thought, freedom of religion, freedom to practice your religion the way you want to, and the freedom to vote. And finally, he saw what John F. Kennedy talked about, where America was a beacon of mankind. It was a symbol of hope. And my father still believes in this vision of America, and I still believe in it too. And so do so many of our immigrants, whether they are Asian American immigrants, whether they be Asian American from Asia, or they be our Native Hawaiian, our Pacific Islander. We are all one. We're all Americans, and we're very proud. And we're still fighting and believing in that American dream. I urge a yes vote on this resolution. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Those in favor of the resolution will be voting aye. Those opposed will be voting no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. On the resolution, the ayes are 199, the nays are 4. The resolution is adopted. Members, we have a group that was not here, and the chair would like us to recognize them. This morning, Representative Cepeda Freitas has from Berks County in the gallery, Berks for Peace. Berks for Peace, they stand up and recognize education, awareness, and advocacy. They are young leaders who are taking charge of social and environmental challenges. They make a difference by building connections, and their motto is together for peace and equity, with our youth leading the future. Berks for Peace is in the gallery. Stand up. Welcome. The chair recognizes Representative Mark Kozik, Chair of the Committee on Housing and Community Development, who reports the following bills. House Bill 359, reported as amended. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? House Bill 1059, reported as committed. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Vitale, Chair of the Committee on Environmental and Natural Resources Protection. He reports the following bill. House Bill 1233, reported as committed. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Vitale, Chair of the Committee on Environmental and Natural Resource Protection, who reports the following resolution. H.R. 192, reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Nielsen, the Chair of the Committee on Transportation, who reports the following bill. House Bill 1364, reported as committed. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The chair recognizes Representative Nielsen, Chair of the Committee on Transportation, who reports the following resolution. H.R. 68, reported as committed. Will the House agree the report is agreed to? The chair referred the following bills, which the clerk will now read.
Referrals, May 4th, 2025. House Bill 1200 to Health, House Bill 1378, House Bill 1379, House Bill 1380, those three to Veterans Affairs and Emergency Preparedness.
Chair recognizes the gentleman from Beaver, Representative Matsey, the Majority Caucus Chair, for a caucus announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Democrats will be prepared to caucus at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. We will be prepared to return to the floor at 2 p.m. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. The chair recognizes the gentleman from Philadelphia, Representative White, the Minority Caucus Chair, for a caucus announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Republican Caucus will be prepared to return to the floor at 2 o'clock and will caucus at 1 o'clock. Again, we will be caucusing at 1 o'clock. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Lackawanna County, Representative Mullins, for a committee announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The Appropriations Committee will meet immediately in the Majority Caucus Room. All members of the Appropriations Committee, please report to Majority Caucus Room immediately. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Allegheny for a committee announcement, Representative Frankel.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The House Health Committee will meet immediately at the break in Irvis G50. The House Health Committee will meet immediately at the break in Irvis G50. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. The House will stand in recess until 2 o'clock p.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.
The hour of 2:15 having come, House will come to order. Chair recognizes Representative Frankel, Chair of the Committee on Health, who reports the following bills. House Bill 1200, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Jordan A. Harris, Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, who reports the following bills. House Bill 193, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. House Bill 630, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. House Bill 734, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. House Bill 1102, re-reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Chair recognizes Representative Jordan A. Harris, Chair of the Committee on Appropriations, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 198, committed as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. H.R. 217 as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Briggs, Chair of the Committee on Judiciary, who reports the following bills. House Bill 282, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. House Bill 1042, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. House Bill 1098, reported as amended. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. SB 475, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The chair recognizes Representative Briggs, Chair of the Committee on Judiciary, who reports the following resolutions. H.R. 214, reported as committed. Will the House agree to the report? Agreed to. Chair is in receipt of the following report, which the clerk will read.
A report pursuant to Section 447B(4) of the Workers' Compensation Act from the Bureau of Labor and Industry regarding the Workers' Compensation Advisory Council's 2025 annual report.
Chair is in receipt of the following committee on committee report, which the clerk will read.
May 5th, 2025. Resolved that Jamie Flick resigns as a member of the Local Government Committee. Jill Cooper is elected a member of the Local Government Committee. Respectfully submitted, Tina Pickett, Chair, Committee on Committees.
Chair refers the following bills, which the clerk will read.
Referrals May 5th, 2025. House Bill 1392, House Bill 1395, both to education. House Bill 1393, House Bill 1394, both to finance. House Bill 1346, House Bill 1391, both to insurance. House Bill 1397, judiciary. House Resolution 228, labor and industry. House Bill 1396, state government. House Resolution 226 to the uncontested calendar under Rule 35. And House Resolution 227 to tourism, recreation, and economic development.
Chair recognizes Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 46, printer's number 0411 on page 4 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the resolution.
A resolution recognizing the week of May 9th through May 15th, 2025 as National Stuttering Awareness Week in Pennsylvania, introduced by Representative Brandon Markosik.
Will the House agree to the resolution? Those in favor of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the resolution. The ayes are 199, the nays are 4. The resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes Majority Leader who calls up House Resolution 197, printer's number 1380 on page 9 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the resolution.
A resolution recognizing and honoring the members of Delta Sigma Theta sorority for more than a century of commitment to social activism, academic excellence, and civic engagement in this Commonwealth on the occasion of Delta Day at the State Capitol introduced by Representative Lindsey Powell.
Will the House agree to the resolution? Those in favor of the resolution will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? All the members voted. The clerk will record the vote. On the resolution, the ayes are 192, the nays 11. The resolution is adopted. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 81, printers number 0032 on page 1 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill prohibits additional fees on consumers.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 820, printers number 0824 on page 2 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill implements a working Pennsylvania tax credit to give working families a percentage of their federal earned income tax credit.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. House Bill 1057, printers number 1148 on page 1 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides for river pilot rate adjustments.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 1117, printers number 1298 on page 3 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides for powers and duties.
Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 355, printers number 1151 on page 3 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill increases the grading for convictions of corruption of minor cases where the perpetrator is a person of authority like a law enforcement officer or an employee or volunteer at a school.
Will the House agree to the bill? The chair rules the following amendment out of order for violating House Rule 20, A00417. Representative Ledbetter offers Amendment A00250. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Ledbetter. Chair's understanding Representative Ledbetter will be withdrawing. Is that correct? Chair thanks the gentleman. So the chair's understanding Amendment A00421 being offered by Representative Owlett is being withdrawn. Representative Hogan offers Amendment A00415. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Hogan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to offer Amendment A00415. The crime of unlawful contact with a minor provides that an individual commits the offense if the individual contacts a minor with the intention of engaging in one of several enumerated sexual offenses. This amendment simply adds human trafficking, corruption of minors, and several other sexual offenses to the enumerated list of offenses. When the crime of unlawful contact with a minor was originally enacted, certain offenses like human trafficking were not yet included in the Crimes Code. By adding these new offenses, we can ensure that the laws stay current with evolving criminal behaviors that target minors. If a sex offense like human trafficking is not specifically enumerated in the statute, a perpetrator who contacts a minor with the intention of compelling the child to engage in sexual servitude may avoid accountability under our laws. In other words, the absence of these offenses in the statute creates a legal gap that offenders may exploit to target vulnerable children. By including all relevant offenses in the offense of unlawful contact with a minor, we can ensure that prosecutors have the tools to charge offenders appropriately. Moreover, a comprehensive unlawful contact with a minor statute sends a strong message that all forms of exploitive intent toward minors, whether traditional or emerging, will be treated seriously under our laws, thus strengthening both prevention and deterrence. I ask for an affirmative vote on this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman and recognizes the prime sponsor of the underlying bill, the gentleman from Chester, Representative Pielli.
Speaker, thank you. This is an agreed-to amendment. I ask my colleagues to please vote yes on this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? The clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The yeas are 203 and the nays are 0. The amendment is agreed to. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The bill as amended will be reprinted. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 789, printers number 0813 on page 2 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill expands the CPACE program by adding electric vehicle charging infrastructure as an eligible project type.
Will the House agree to the bill? Representative Struzzi offers Amendment A00400. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Struzzi.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment would require that the General Assembly grant legislative approval for any type of multi-state compact that creates a tax on emissions, otherwise known as the Regional Greenhouse Gas Initiative. I will be withdrawing this amendment, but I do think that it's pertinent we begin to have those discussions about policies like RGGI, other policies that have been introduced that deter energy production in Pennsylvania. The underlying bill would expand our electric infrastructure, adding more demand to our grid that is already stressed at a time when we know those demands are only going to increase. So while I am withdrawing this amendment today, I think it is absolutely pertinent as we go into our budget discussions, looking at a budget that far exceeds our current revenues. We have legitimate discussions about removing policies from Pennsylvania that say, do not enter, we are not open for business, because we need to capitalize on the energy resources that we have in Pennsylvania, increase our production, grow our economy, grow jobs, and bring people back to this great Commonwealth. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. It's the chair's understanding that Representative Armanini is withdrawing Amendment A00406. Chair thanks the gentleman. Representative Marla Brown offers Amendment A00408. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Brown.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I respectfully ask for your support of my amendment, A0408, which would allow businesses and property owners to opt out of assessments for any electrical vehicle charging infrastructure projects under the CPACE program. I think it's entirely reasonable that businesses and property owners in a community who don't want their property taxes to change in order to fund electrical vehicle charging for others should be able to opt out of this particular scheme. The federal government has pumped endless millions of taxpayer dollars into our state and other states to build up taxpayer-funded electrical vehicle chargers, which only benefit a small portion of our constituents. Because of this, I don't believe we need to be taking any steps as a legislature to further incentivize EV charging stations, and certainly not at the expense of our business community. This is a matter of local control and not forcing financial impacts down the throats of our businesses and property owners without giving them a say in the process. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentlelady and recognize the prime sponsor of the bill, Representative Cerisi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is not an agreed-to amendment. I'd ask for a no vote.
Those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. All the members voted. All the members voted. Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The yeas are 101, the nays are 102. The amendment fails. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The bill as amended will be reprinted. Correction, the bill was not amended. Strike that from the record. The bill as agreed to. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 926, printers number 0974 on page 3 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill provides Healthcare Workplace Violence Prevention Act.
Will the House agree to the bill? It's our understanding Representative Grove will be withdrawing Amendment A00322. That's correct. Representative Grove will be offering Amendment A00321. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes the gentleman from York, Representative Grove.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Amendment A0321 moves enforcement to the Department of Health, and a violation of the Act will constitute a violation of the Chapter 8 of the Healthcare Facilities Act, which the hospital is already under and is familiar with. It inserts new provisions to provide for workplace violence in health facilities. It allows employees to make reports of workplace violence to the health facility or law enforcement. It requires the health facilities to take specific actions upon receiving a report. It allows employees to communicate concerns and suggestions related to workplace violence. Prohibits discrimination or adverse employment action against an employee as a result of a good faith report of workplace violence or submission of concerns or suggestions to the facility. Provides a grading enhancement for criminal offenses that constitute workplace violence and requires signage at facility entrances. Requires an annual workplace violence notice to employees to include information on the reports of workplace violence received by the health facility and information on the concerns and suggestions received from the employees. Information on the provisions of this Act, a violation of this Act can be reported to the Department in Contact Information Report, that the General Duty Clause of the Federal OSHA Act requires workplace to be free of recognized hazards, and contact information for OSHA to report hazards. And finally, provides immunity from civil liability for healthcare facility employees and security officers for actions in defense, and this is important, or protection of employees from workplace violence. Ultimately, Mr. Chair, this bill takes all the good aspects, adds additional protections for those who keep individuals safe at healthcare facilities without more regulation, more government paperwork, more fines, more fees. So it gets the job done with less government intervention into a highly regulated entity to begin with. I appreciate a yes vote to bring this common sense amendment to deal with workplace violence in a responsible way. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Recognize the prime sponsor of the underlying bill, the Majority Caucus Administrator from Delaware, Representative Krueger.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is not an agreed to amendment, and I urge my colleagues to vote no. Thank you.
Those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? All the members voted. Clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The ayes are 101, the nays 102. The amendment fails. Representative Grove will be offering amendment A00350. Will the House agree to the amendment? Gentleman withdraws. Chair thanks the gentleman. Representative Rowe offers amendment A00423. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Rowe.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this is a very simple amendment that simply updates the terminology to be more uniformly applicable across the Commonwealth. It also simply standardizes the committee structure to ensure we are not placing undue burden on small and rural hospitals. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Recognize the prime sponsor of the bill, Representative Krueger.
Speaker, this is an agreed to amendment, and I would urge my colleagues to vote yes. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The ayes are 203, the nays are 0. The amendment is agreed to. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The bill as amended will be reprinted. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 993, printers number 1077 on page 4 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill requires the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs to oversee the design of a veteran-owned business logo and develop an application for its use and display.
Will the House agree to the bill? It's the chair's understanding that Amendment A00377 being offered by Representative Rowe is being withdrawn. Chair thanks the gentleman. It's also the chair's understanding that the majority chairman of the underlying committee, Amendment A00419, being offered by Representative Solomon, will be withdrawn. Chair thanks the gentleman. Representative Baseline offers Amendment A00414. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Baseline.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise not only in honor of our military veterans, but in support of a concrete way we can help them thrive after service through a critical amendment that empowers veteran-owned businesses. My amendment directs the Department of Military and Veterans Affairs to inform logotype applicants of business training courses offered by small business development centers, and requires the department to publicly advertise how to contact a veteran-owned business coordinator, and requires the DMVA and DCD to work collaboratively for the benefit of veteran business owners. Veterans have already proven their commitment to serving our nation, and it's time we show our commitment to them, not just with words, but with actions that enable long-term business success. Supporting this amendment is also supporting the Commonwealth's future, and I ask for an affirmative vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Recognizes the prime sponsor of the legislation, gentleman from Allegheny County, Representative Inglis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The good representative and myself have worked closely with committee leadership and staff on this bill. This amendment helps streamline communication of services and benefits for veterans in conjunction with the logo application process. I urge a yes vote from my colleagues on Amendment A00414. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? The clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The yeas are 203 and the nays are 0. The amendment is agreed to. Will the House agree to the bill? Agreed to. The bill as amended will be reprinted. Chair reminds the members, if you'd like to be recognized to speak on debate, please use the button at your desk. It clearly helps us up here on the rostrum. Chair thanks the members for their kind attention. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 378, printers number 0334, on page 3 of today's House calendar. The clerk will read a summary of the bill.
This bill streamlines the child custody determination factors.
Will the House agree to the bill? Representative Flick offers amendment A00342. Will the House agree to the amendment? On that question, the chair recognizes Representative Flick.
Check, check. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise today to offer Amendment A00342, which would amend HB 378. My amendment, in its simplest form, requires courts to provide any party named in a custody petition with a copy of these new factors. Parents and legal guardians need to understand what factors the courts are considering when making custody decisions. This allows them to represent relevant evidence and arguments. Providing these factors levels the playing field, especially for pro se or self-represented litigants who may not know the law. It helps them prepare their case effectively and understand what is expected. Mr. Speaker, when both parties understand the criteria used by our courts, it can reduce misunderstandings, focus discussions, and encourage settlements aligned with the child's best interest. I ask for an affirmative vote on this amendment. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Recognizes the prime sponsor of the legislation, Representative Hanbidge.
I would ask for an affirmative vote on this agreed to amendment. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Clerk, those in favor of the amendment will vote aye. Those opposed, no. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? All the members voted. Clerk will record the vote on the amendment. The ayes are 203, the nays are 0. The amendment is agreed to. For what purpose does the The Majority Whip, Representative Schlossberg, rise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make a motion.
Gentleman's in order, may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to table Amendment A00043.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Representative Schlossberg moves that Amendment A00043 be laid on the table. On that question, members are reminded that the motion to lay on the table is debatable by only the leaders, the maker of the motion, the maker of the amendment under consideration, and the prime sponsor of the bill under consideration. On the motion, the chair recognizes Representative Schlossberg. Gentleman waves off. Chair recognizes the Minority Leader, Representative Topper.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. While I recognize the majority party's option to table amendments, I would simply like to call attention to the nature of our rules. This is an amendment that has been out there since this bill was introduced. We've had plenty of time to work on the bill with the amendment, with the sponsor of the amendment as well as the sponsor of the bill. So this is not an issue of time. This is also not an issue of relevance. It is clear that this amendment should attach to this bill. This is a bill concerning custody matters, and that is exactly what this amendment directs, where the court shall consider whether a parent allowed or directed a child to illegally enter the United States without accompanied by a legal guardian. And this is critical as we look at human trafficking in this country and to ensuring that our children are kept safe. This should be a matter of debate. The motion to table should not be in order in this case. Every member has a right to be heard on amendments that are in order, and this amendment certainly is. And I would ask on this procedural vote that all members vote no to this motion to table. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Recognizes the prime sponsor of the amendment, Gentlelady from Fayette, Representative Krupa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I stand in opposition to the motion to table this very important amendment. This amendment wasn't just drafted this session, it was drafted last session in response to the underlying bill, and I commend the maker of the bill for wanting to take the time to revisit the factors that can be used in child custody cases. Unfortunately, the motion to table in this instance is another example of the un-American schemes that the majority party...
Gentlelady will suspend. Gentlelady is reminded not to attack the character or reputation of the members of this chamber. If the gentlelady can stick to the motion before this chamber, she may proceed. Gentlelady may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. When I came in as a freshman last session, you hear the phrase, the majority will have its way, but the minority will have its say. If you table this very important amendment, you're stifling the voice of the minority party in this House. The proposed amendment voices a very important factor that the courts absolutely should consider when making a determination and a ruling on child custody matters. My amendment, Amendment 43 to House Bill 378, deals with instances when parents have moved their children...
Gentlelady will suspend. The question before the House is the tabling of the amendment, not the underlying amendment. Gentlelady may proceed. Gentlelady may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tabling of this particular amendment does not serve any purpose other than to stifle the minority voice and stifle debate. I urge my colleagues to cast a negative vote and oppose this motion to table. Thank you for your support.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Those in favor of the motion to table vote aye. Those opposed nay. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote. The ayes are 102, the nays are 101. The majority having voted in the affirmative, the amendment A0043 is laid on the table. House agreed to the bill? Agreed to. The bill as amended will be reprinted.
Chair recognizes the Majority Leader who calls up House Bill 193, printers number 0140 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill requires the Department of General Services to install and maintain at least one functioning automated external defibrillator in each state building.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the chair recognizes the maker of the bill, the good gentleman from Bucks, Representative Brennan.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Heart health is a bipartisan issue, and this is a bipartisan bill. This week, the American Heart Association and the NFL are all up in the Capitol lobbying for the use of AEDs. Damar Hamlin is one of the reasons that I decided to run this bill. You all may remember that on January 2nd, 2023, the day before I was sworn in for the first time to this chamber, the whole world saw the value of AEDs. That was the day that the 24-year-old Allegheny County native had a sudden cardiac event on Monday Night Football. He was saved because of an AED and honest preparations to save lives. A cardiac arrest occurs when the heart suddenly stops beating. This can happen to anyone. Victims of the attack, young or old, will likely die absent some type of intervention. Nearly 500,000 people suffer cardiac events each year, almost 1,000 plus a day. They are fatal 90% of the time if they occur outside of a hospital. However, the survival rate can jump up to 90% with the use of an AED within a minute. Unfortunately, an AED is only used about 6% of the time, and most of the time people only call 911, and at that point it may be too late for the victim. 20% of cardiac arrests occur in a public building, and this bill is meant to increase survival rates, decrease complications like brain damage, and to save more lives. What this bill does, it requires one AED per building, one additional AED for every 70 square feet, which is about 2 football fields. It exempts a number of buildings that don't need an AED, like sheds and unoccupied buildings, temporary structures, and it only applies to buildings that are actually owned by the Commonwealth. We are all relieved when we hear stories about lives saved, about children coming home to their parents and husbands coming home to their wives, and good lives continued because of the use of these devices. A yes vote ensures that more of these stories are possible, so I urge a yes vote. Thank you.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the ayes and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 150, the nays are 53. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally. The clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, calls up House Bill 630, printer's number 0767 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. The House agrees the bill is agreed to. The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill modernizes the equal pay law, creating new protections and expanding penalties for violations.
This bill has been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, Chair recognizes the gentlelady from Cumberland, Representative Gleim.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Bill 630 and the data behind what they're trying to do here with the bill, that women are paid less than men, uses studies that take all the salaries of men and all the salaries of women and simply uses an average. But this does not consider life choices, circumstances, education, experience, and other important factors. House Bill 630 represents a paradigm shift in how employers are governed under the old law, including adopting a vague and subjective comparable work standard, adding ambiguous definitions throughout the law, increasing penalties up to 5,000%, and providing new opportunities to sue employers with uncapped punitive damages. Federal and state law already prohibit discrimination in all areas of employment on the basis of race, sex, color, and national origin, among other protected classes, and the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission is already tasked with investigating violations. Our own Department of Labor and Industry, in their comments last year, reported that there has not been a single equal pay complaint filed with the Bureau in over 20 years. And they say it's due to the protections provided through the Fair Labor Standards Act. So now, is the government going to be involved in private sector human relations where outside Department of Labor agents with no working knowledge of a given company's business or its employees' performance is going to, in effect, undertake performance reviews, evaluate employee experience and credentials, and magically rate the quality and quantity of their work in determining what is or isn't comparable work? I hope not. I think this is a bill that is in search of a problem, and I urge my colleagues to oppose the bill. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. On that question, the chair recognizes the maker of the bill, gentlelady from Chester, Representative Schusterman.
Thank you, Speaker. To attract and keep our workforce, Pennsylvania must ensure we are competitive with our neighbors. According to the Department of Labor in 2023, women in Pennsylvania were paid an average of 80.9% of what men were paid for the same, yes, the same work. This means our Commonwealth's pay gap trails behind 5 out of our 6 neighboring states. I want to share a personal story. I started my first job, I know, a while ago, right here in Pennsylvania. I was excited to do well. I was selling. I learned that the top earner would receive a bonus, a television set, and a gift certificate. The second month of my employment, I worked hard and became the top earner. I went to collect my earned bonus and prizes, and my boss said, "We're giving the bonus and prizes to the man who came in second because he had a family to support." They told me my father would support me. I left that company immediately, and then I left my next job that refused to pay me what I was deserved and what was fair for the work I was doing. These experiences stuck with me for my entire career. The way I paid back those companies was to leave this state. I ended up starting my own film and video company, and I was able to take their clients away from them. So my question is, how would you feel? Underpaid, underappreciated? How will your daughter or your wife feel? Less money for groceries, for your and their retirement, for participating in the economy. So equal pay is the right thing to do from a business standpoint, or your business might find yourself without workers. Believe me, people talk at work. If your business wants the best people here in Pennsylvania, you need to put all workers on an even playing field like our neighboring states. I ask for a yes vote.
Chair thanks the gentlelady. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 102, the nays are 101. Majority required by the Constitution. Having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, calls up House Bill 734, printer's number 0983 on page 1 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill helps relocate tenants to habitable housing when their rental property is condemned.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the yeas and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on final passage of the bill. The yeas are 106, the nays are 97. Majority required by the Constitution. Having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes the House finally, and the clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader, calls up House Bill 1102, printer's number 1489 on page 2 of Supplemental Calendar A. Will the House agree the bill is agreed to? The clerk will read the title and a brief description of the bill.
This bill expands the Pennsylvania National Guard's incentive program for in-demand military occupations to provide bonuses to recruit specialty branch members who are chaplains, judge advocate general officers, healthcare officers, and medical officers.
This bill's been considered on 3 different days and agreed to. The question is, shall the bill pass the House finally? On that question, the chair recognizes the maker of the bill, gentleman from Chester, Representative Paelli.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Over a decade ago, we passed the Medical Officer and Health Officer Incentive Program to bring skilled medical professionals to the Pennsylvania National Guard. This highly successful program helped address a critical need for our forces. However, that need remains, especially given the growing demand of skilled professionals and the rising cost of education and training. That's why I'm proud to have worked with Senator Hutchinson on expanding this program through our House Bill 1102. This was initiated at the request of the Pennsylvania National Guard, and this passed out of committee unanimously, All 26 members voted for this. This bill broadens the eligibility to include additional specialty branch officers. It extends the partial tuition reimbursement program to support enlistment by the U.S. Army JAG officers and chaplains, and streamlines the current list of eligible medical officers. It also includes a tiered reimbursement structure based on educational attainment to help offset the cost of advanced accreditation required for these roles. Our National Guard deserves the best, and to get the best, we need to make this investment. So I please ask for your support on HB 1102. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair thanks the gentleman. Agreeable to the provisions of the Constitution, the ayes and nays will now be taken. Members will proceed to vote. Have all the members voted? Have all the members voted? Clerk will record the vote on the final passage of the bill. The yeas are 203, the nays are 0. Majority required by the Constitution having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes finally, and the clerk will return the same to the Senate for concurrence. Colleagues, if I can have your attention, we have a special guest here this afternoon. The good gentleman from Montgomery County, Representative Nelson, brings to the halls of the House, seated to the left of the Speaker's rostrum, the Treasurer from Montgomery County. We are thrilled to have Jason Salas. He's a businessman with a degree in finance from the Pennsylvania State University, an MBA from Temple University. In his years as the Treasurer of Montgomery County, he has brought private sector financial acumen to the office. Treasurer Salas, please stand. Welcome to the floor of the House. Majority Leader moves that the following bills be recommitted to the Committee on Appropriations. House Bill 81, House Bill 355, House Bill 378, House Bill 789, House Bill 820, House Bill 926, House Bill 993, House Bill 1057, House Bill 1117. Majority Leader moves that the following bills be removed from the table calendar and be placed on the active calendar. House Bill 96, House Bill 103, House Bill 504, House Bill 561, House Bill 754, House Bill 986, House Bill 992, House Bill 1200. Chair recognizes the gentleman. Chair recognizes the gentleman from Beaver County, Majority Caucus Chair, for a caucus announcement.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. House Democrats will caucus at 3:45. Again, House Democrats will caucus at 3:45 in the Majority Caucus Room. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Chair is in receipt of a motion from the gentlelady from Philadelphia, Representative White, that the House now adjourn until Tuesday, May the 6th, 2025 at 11 a.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker. Questions on the motion? Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the House stands adjourned until Tuesday, May 6, 2025 at 11 a.m. unless sooner recalled by the Speaker.